Welcome back to English with Tom and Julia, the podcast where we talk about language, life, and learning to think in English through stories that actually mean something.
Today, we're diving into a topic that often feels a little uncomfortable: debt.
Yeah, the word itself makes people tense up, because for many of us, debt equals stress, pressure, or even failure.
But what if we told you that debt isn't always bad? That sometimes borrowing can be a form of belief in your future, in your growth, in your potential.
Exactly. Today's episode is called Debt Isn't Always Bad, When Borrowing Becomes Motivation. Because sometimes, debt isn't the end. It's the beginning of your next chapter.
Let's start with something simple. Debt is not always financial. We can have emotional debt, time debt, energy debt. It's any situation where you borrow from your future to improve your present.
That's a really fresh way to look at it. Because in a sense, every dream requires a little debt. We borrow time, effort, or money to build something we believe in.
Exactly. So the key isn't to avoid all debt. It's to understand the difference between bad debt and good debt.
Yes, and that's what we want to unpack today. Because how you see debt will completely change how you live with it.
Let's start with bad debt. Bad debt is when you borrow to escape, impress, or fill a void. It's emotional, impulsive, and short-term.
Right, like buying things just to feel better, or to look like you're doing well. It gives a quick dopamine hit but no real value.
Exactly. It's the kind of debt that takes away your energy because it's not tied to growth. It's tied to insecurity.
Bad debt usually comes from emotion, fear of missing out, or fear of not being enough.
Yes, it often whispers, "If I just buy this, I'll feel complete." But the truth is, that kind of debt doesn't build, it consumes.
Now, good debt is very different. Good debt is intentional. It's when you borrow to build something: education, a home, a business, or even a skill that creates future value.
Exactly. Good debt is when you say, "I believe in my future enough to invest in it." It's not about escaping reality, it's about expanding it.
I love that, because good debt often feels scary at first. But that fear can be healthy. It's the kind that pushes you to grow. Can I share a story, Tom?
Of course.
When I decided to study abroad, I had to borrow money. It terrified me. I felt guilty, even ashamed. But I knew deep down that this wasn't about spending. It was about becoming.
That's powerful.
I worked part-time, paid off every bit slowly, and each payment felt like a small victory. Over time, I realized the debt wasn't a burden. It was my teacher. It taught me discipline, patience, and the value of my own effort.
So that was good debt. It stretched you without breaking you.
Exactly. And that experience gave me confidence, because I proved to myself that I could handle it.
Let's talk about the shame around debt. Why do you think people feel so guilty about it?
I think because society often connects debt with failure. Like if you have debt, it means you made bad choices, or that you're behind everyone else.
Yes, but that's not always true. Sometimes debt just means you had the courage to take a step most people were too afraid to take.
Exactly. Shame makes you hide from your debt. Responsibility helps you grow through it.
Right. When you stop avoiding it, you start learning from it. Debt handled consciously becomes discipline in disguise.
So, how do we turn debt from something that drains us into something that drives us?
First, by changing our relationship with it. Debt is not your enemy. It's your accountability partner. It reminds you every day why you made that decision in the first place.
Yes, when I was repaying my student loan, every time I sent money, I told myself, this is proof that I'm building my future.
That's beautiful. Because then every payment isn't just money leaving your account, it's confidence returning to your life.
Exactly. It's not punishment, it's progress.
And here's a practical idea. Keep a growth ledger. For every loan payment or effort you make, write down one skill, habit, or mindset you've gained because of that experience.
I love that. It transforms debt from numbers into meaning.
Let's summarize something important here. There are 3 key differences between bad debt and good debt. But maybe we can go even deeper than that.
Yes, because it's not just about the numbers or interest rates. It's about the story behind why you borrowed in the first place.
Exactly. Bad debt usually starts from a feeling, a rush, an impulse, a sense that you're missing something right now. You buy to fix that emotion, not to create value.
Right. It's like emotional eating, but with money. You spend not because you need it, but because you need comfort, validation, or distraction.
And the problem is, when the feeling fades, the debt remains, and often the guilt grows.
Yes, you start to feel like you owe not just money, but your self-worth too. You feel smaller, powerless.
Now, with good debt, the emotion behind it is different. It's not excitement, it's belief. You know it will be hard, but you also know it will be worth it.
Exactly. Good debt doesn't come with guilt. It comes with responsibility and motivation. It makes you want to get up in the morning and work because you're building something that matters.
That's a really important distinction. Bad debt drains your energy. Good debt gives you direction.
Yes, and you can feel the difference in your body. Bad debt makes you anxious and restless. Good debt might scare you, but it also energizes you. There's purpose behind it.
Maybe the real question isn't just, is this good or bad debt? But rather, how do I feel about this debt? And what is it teaching me?
Exactly. Because sometimes a bad debt today can become a good one later if you turn it into wisdom.
That's beautifully said. It's not black and white. It's how you manage it. Debt is a mirror. It reflects how honest you are with yourself about your choices.
So the goal isn't to avoid debt forever. It's to develop the kind of mindset that allows you to handle it wisely, without fear, without shame.
Yes, because in life, you will always be borrowing something: time, energy, opportunity. The key is to borrow with purpose, not panic.
That's so true. Borrow with purpose, not panic. That might be the heart of this whole episode. All right, let's get practical. For anyone listening who's feeling overwhelmed by money, by student loans, by pressure, this part is for you.
Here's a simple, reflective exercise you can do tonight, or even right now if you're journaling.
Take a notebook or open your notes app. Draw two columns, one titled Bad Debt and the other Good Debt.
Under bad debt, write down anything that makes you feel heavy, guilty, or anxious. Ask yourself, why did I take this on? What emotion was I trying to fix or avoid?
Be gentle, not judgmental. You're not writing this to punish yourself. You're writing it to understand yourself.
Then, under good debt, write the things you borrowed for growth: education, tools, investments, or even the time you took off to rest or heal.
Yes, because rest can also be an investment if it helps you rebuild your focus and energy.
Now, here's the powerful part. Next to each one, write the lesson that came from it.
For example, my student loan taught me discipline. My business debt taught me risk management. My credit card debt taught me emotional awareness.
Exactly. You'll start to see that even your bad debts had hidden lessons. They weren't failures, they were feedback.
And that changes everything. Because once you learn from a debt, it stops controlling you. You start controlling it.
You can even take it further. Create a debt growth plan. For every debt, write one small action that moves you closer to balance or resolution.
It can be something simple like pay $50 more this month, or skip one luxury purchase, or even talk to a financial advisor.
Yes, it's not about doing everything overnight. It's about building momentum, turning shame into strategy.
I think that's what real financial maturity looks like. Not perfection, but presence. Not fear, but clarity.
And the more clarity you have, the more peace you'll feel, even if the numbers don't change right away.
Because you're no longer defined by your debt. You're defined by your direction.
Beautifully said. And that's something every listener can start today. Not just with money, but with anything they've borrowed in life.
Yes, you can borrow courage, borrow faith, borrow time, as long as you pay it back with gratitude and growth.
That's the true meaning of good debt. It's an exchange. between who you are today and who you're becoming tomorrow.
And that is the kind of debt worth having.